Hello, my name is Jeff Warrender. Along with Steve Sisk, I am the creator of Lost Adventures, an adventure archaeology movie game for 2 to 4 players that lasts about 60 minutes with a full group of 4. The idea is that we, the players, are characters in an adventure archaeology movie, so things like Indiana Jones, Tomb Raider, The Goonies, and so on. And our goal is to be the furthest along the temple track when the game ends. Now, there have been plenty of Bullwhips and Fedoras games over the years, loot the temple sort of thing, but what we tried to capture is the entire cinematic sweep of one of these films. And so these films have 2 main acts to them, and so does our game. We have a map phase where you're gathering information about the Lost Temple, which is captured on these cards. And then there is the temple phase where you enter the temple and pass through its perils. And I'll tell you just a bit about how each of those 2 phases work. In the map phase, each player gets 5 turns, and on your turn, you follow a simple sequence. You travel to a different city, and then you reveal an encounter card and face an encounter in that city. You roll some dice, and maybe the enemy moves towards you. And depending on how the dice fared and how your preparation was, you're going to get some information about the Lost Temple. Maybe you're going to reveal a card that tells you something about what you're going to face when you get into the temple. And then you're going to have the ability to add a card to your tableau, which represents your character. So adding a card represents kind of the sort of like the scene where Indy throws a pistol into his suitcase and says, "Marcus, you know what a careful guy I am." We're establishing something about Indy's character, and that's sort of what's happening in with our character tableau here. So we do that several times, and then we enter the Lost Temple. Now, the main action in the temple is when we face the temple perils, which are these cards, and we face them one at a time. What happens is we each have opportunity to place a bid simultaneously, in which we bid how much hubris we're willing to take on, these green tokens, and that's our initial bid. Then we reveal the nature of the peril that we face. Maybe it's deadly asps or spinning blades or something like that. And we look at the symbols we have in our tableau that match the temple peril, and that adds to our bid. And whoever has the highest bid gets to move the furthest along the temple track. And so after all the perils are over, we see who is the furthest along, and that player is the winner, except that that's not true, because the powers that be don't like hubris. And so we have to face the final hubris challenge to purge ourselves of hubris, and anyone who fails to do so will have their face melt off, and it's very unfortunate. But for those players who do pass the hubris challenge, whoever is furthest along the temple track will be the winner. We have been working on this game for 15 years and have tried a lot of different things, and I think there are a couple of things that are distinctive about this particular and what we think is the final version of the game. It's very tight. You face tight decisions, like if I take one hubris here, I might get a little bit better piece of information in the map phase that feels like such a small thing, but it can turn out to be very consequential by the end of the game. The second part is that most of the archaeology type games are loot the temple, explore the temple sort of things. What we felt works better and is also more true to the spirit of the films is that we're jostling for position in the temple with this bidding mechanic. It's sort of like who's going to be the first across the rope bridge, who wants it more. That's kind of what we were trying to capture. So we have a lot of fun playing the game. It's you feel like you've been on a cinematic experience by the end of it. You had some things go your way, some things didn't go your way. You jostled for position. You had to get rid of all that hubris, and then in the end, you feel like you've really been on a fun ride, and it's a lot of fun to play. So we're very proud of this. Hope you'll be interested to hear more about it.